Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Crash Course Studio. Welcome to the show. So I believe today is the last day for spoiler season for Bloomburrow. I mean, not including the precons and whatever other products that they might have just coming around the corner as well. But I believe the precons are in a day or so. But yeah, I think that this is the last wrap-up day, and we've got some really exciting cards, of course, some ones that are going to be huge. And how does green keep getting all the good stuff? Because, of course, we've got Scrap Shooter. I mean, the art's really cool. The concept is cool. It just... Here we go. A 4/4 Raccoon Archer for 3 mana in green. Gift a card. So, you gotta give an opponent a gift, if you want that gift. Reach. Enters if the gift was promised. Destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So, basically, Rexage, but, really wrecking things, being a 4/4 with reach for 3 mana. Now, there's obviously a downside to this. I mean, it is a downside technically to give a card to an opponent, right? That being said, you don't have to do that. This could just be a 4/4 for 3 mana with reach. You don't have to actually destroy something if you don't want to. If you are in the situation where you're like, that artifact or enchantment needs to go, yeah, gift a card to an opponent. And also, utilize it to your advantage. Again, it doesn't have to be the opponent that you're disadvantaging. You are hurting that opponent by taking away their artifact or enchantment. They probably don't like you very much right now. So you know what? Instead of trying to make it up to them, be like, hey, other opponent over here, let's be buddies. I'll give you a card. You help me out. So yeah, this seems like a very good card. Now, is it going to replace Rexage? Probably not, but definitely could it see play alongside it? Absolutely. Could it see play in like a, stompy type deck? Yeah, I mean, it's good. Low to the ground removal. That is also, again, a decent sized threat, a decent blocker, again, with that reach that will come in handy against flyers, of course. And again, it has that flexibility that if you need to get rid of something and then make a deal with that card that you were giving. So yeah, I think this is a very good card. Blink decks, again, stompy decks, just any deck that's apparently just running Rexage that isn't just like a tribal deck, yeah, could definitely consider this one. Next up, Flame Vessel Gecko, a 2/2 Lizard Warlock for 2 mana in red. When it enters, if an opponent lost life this turn, add Rakdos colors. By paying 1 in a red, discard a card, draw a card. This seems very good for the right type of deck out there. I mean, being able to just get like free Rakdos when you play this, that's quite nice. Like, you can kind of like filter mana with this in a way. An opponent has to have lost life this turn, but obviously, like, if you cast the second main after like attacking, getting through an opponent, or just like any kind of a damage or loss of life effect, there's lots of them out there, obviously. Yeah, you can get this basically for free into play and actually filter your mana for you. And also, it is a discard, draw card, like Rummage Engine for you as well. This is the kind of card that like could potentially go infinite as well if you have like bounce synergies. I'm trying to think of the card's name right now. I mean, it combos with like, 0 mana or like free creatures basically like this one. But yes, being able to like play it, bounce something else, bounce this, whatever it's going to be, keep playing the same creature over and over again, could be quite spicy. You could actually ramp with this as well. Not ramp, but get like a little ritual effect with it too. Like if you had like a cost reduction for this, so it just costs a single red, there you go, getting extra mana. Next up, Eddie Merc Crab, a 5/5 elemental crab for 7 mana in blue with flash. Costs 1 less cast for each instant source card in your graveyard, so it could cost as little as just 2 mana. Enters tapped if it's not your turn. When it enters, tap up to 2 target creatures. Interesting. So essentially, yeah, you can utilize it on an opponent's turn. If you really are like, that player's got to be attacking me with those creatures, let's tap those down. On your turn, though, you can obviously just flash it in, like, combat-wise, essentially, and it can be coming into play on tap, which is nice as well, so you can keep it as a blocker throughout the turns. But being able to, like, tap down your opponent's creatures, that's quite nice, too, for, getting your own creatures through. Next up, Caregiver's Talent. For 3 mana, we've got an enchantment class that is quite spicy. Whenever 1 or more tokens you control enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. That is a massive draw engine. Like, just stop right there. If this card had nothing else on it, that's already probably going to be included in a good amount of decks out there that are focused on tokens, whether that's a go wide strategy, whether that's one that makes, clue tokens, food tokens, treasure tokens, of course, especially if you have ways to like make tokens on your opponent's turns. It only triggers once each turn, yes, With each trip around the table, that could be draw 4 cards. Yeah, that seems quite good. Level 2. Only costs 1 extra mana to get to level 2. When it becomes level 2, create tokens, copy of target token you control. That seems like a very good effect. I mean, at the very least, it's like, okay, I invest 1 mana now to, like, get an extra treasure, which you just come out, like, at the exact same spot. But on top of that, you can, like, kind of save that mana for when you need it later. Or, like, sure, make an extra soldier or whatever. Or, like, yeah, if you've got, like, a giant 10/10 Eldrazi, cool, make an extra token of that. Or if you're a degenerate, like, you know, my Giganta deck, yeah, just make a bunch of copies of, you know, actual creatures and then populate those, and this helps you kind of do that too. Really nice. The third level, though, an extra 4 mana, token creatures you control get +2/+2. So that's a good amount of mana to have to invest afterwards. I mean, you're already getting value of those first 2 parts, and just, yeah, being able to just pump your team, again, extra 2/2, that's quite nice. Great Anthem effect right there. So yeah, I definitely can see this seeing a lot of play out there. Like Marneus, Calgar, or whatever came to mind, like with like one they could really use and abuse it because you really want to make tokens on each turn. Obviously, any commanders that make tokens as well, that can help this too. Moving on, Curelclaw's Heist. Sorcery for black. Gift a card. I like the gift mechanic. I do like it. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If the gift was promised, you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type may be spent to cast it. Yeah, I mean, okay. Like, Thoughtseize type cards really don't see too much play in Commander compared to some other formats because, like, you've got multiple opponents and you're going down, you know, a card yourself to do that. That being said, with this is kind of like more so Thoughtseizing and stealing a card. Now, you have to gift a card again, but, like, you're going to upset the opponent that you do this to. You're going to be like, I tell you that I will look at your hand and take the best card. Thank you. It is mine, and I can play it. Good. Other player over there who I did not upset, you get a card. Let's be friends. Yay! Yeah, this definitely seems more in the direction of something a commander deck could play because this is kind of like stealing a card. This is like, again, on a future turn, you can actually utilize it. So, yeah, taking down an opponent from their best card and just actually having access to it yourself is absolutely amazing. Yes, there's that downside of gifting a card, but again, politic with it. Utilize it in a way where you can say, hey, let's be friends. I already upset them. Let's be friends over here. Next up, Essence Channeler. Oh my goodness. 2/1 Bat Cleric for 2 mana in white. As long as you've lost life this turn, it's got Flying and Vigilance. Interesting. Whenever you gain life, you get a counter on it. Interesting. When it dies, put its counters on target creature you control. There's a lot going on here. I mean, this is one that could potentially work in a couple of different kinds of strategies out there. Obviously, if you have like a way to lose life, or just like you're playing like Read the Bones, you're losing life with that, or like you play a fetch land or a shock land or whatnot, there's ways to lose life, okay? Or those like MDFCs that we just got that can enter untap by paying 3 life. Cool, you can give it Flying and Vigilance on turn so it can get through on opponents. Gaining life, again, whenever you gain life, each instance of life gain. So life gain decks out there have a lot of different instances of life gain. It's not limited to just like once each turn. No, you get a ton of counters on this quite quickly. When it dies on top of that, you get those counters and you shift them over to something else, which is awesome as well. So yeah, counter synergies could work. Obviously, life gain decks, life loss decks, all those things to be considered. But, and I guess bat decks, cleric decks too. But yes, it seems to be a pretty good card that can be a heavy hitter. That can also turn something else into a heavy hitter too. Next up, Azure Beastbinder, a 1/3 rat rogue with vigilance for 2 mana in blue. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or greater. Whenever it attacks up to 1 target artifact, creature, or planeswalker opponent controls, loses all abilities until your next turn. If it's a creature, it has base power up, it's 2/2 until your next turn. I mean, this is one of those types of cards that's pretty interesting. It's kind of like, it's in those in the vein of like Lignify or like, you know, what's the one? Imprison the Moon. Those types of cards where it's like, okay, your commander, and usually this is what would be used on a commander, right? Your commander is now useless, essentially. This is kind of the type of card where, like, you want the commander to be useless. Because you shut that commander down, again, is a 2/2, lose all abilities until your next turn. So not having abilities is huge, especially when decks are built around commanders, and many decks are. So all of a sudden, your commander does nothing, and all of a sudden, it's a 2/2. And you can convince the other players to be like, hey, let's not block the 2/2 commander, okay? Let's just leave it. Let's make that player have to sweat it out and, you know, not be able to, like, keep their commander or go get their commander again. Essentially, yeah, I mean, or they have to wait another turn to get it back. So, yeah, they get it back each turn, but you're going to be able to keep swinging through with this. So, If an opponent has small creatures, sure, you might be in a little bit of trouble, but like if they have only big creatures, you can keep swinging. And again, it doesn't have to be the opponent that you're attacking with this. Again, up to 1 target artifact, creature, planeswalker, and opponent controls. It does not have to be the opponent that you're attacking. So if you're attacking at least one player that only has, power 2 or greater creatures, this is going to be fine. So it can take quite a bit for this to actually get taken out. Again, being a 1/3 vigilance, rat decks can consider it, but of course rogue decks, which like to get through, and actually decks too that like just want like unblockability, just want to be able to get creatures through, whether they have like a trigger where it's like, okay, if you deal combat damage, draw a card, or like Yuriko type decks too. Yeah, being able to just like get through, that's nice. And also, again, like turn something that can be absolutely massive into something tiny. It seems like a very good card. So yeah, a lot of kind of decks out there can actually consider this one. But now this episode is coming to a close. Again, a lot of really exciting spoilers out there right now. I mean, hey, steal your opponent's things, make them your own. Utilize a 4/4 raccoon with reach that costs 3 mana to also just be a reclamation sage, which is basically wrecking everything. So yeah, you gotta gift a card, right? I mean, but politic to your advantage. Utilize that card to make a deal with an opponent, take out another opponent's things, and yeah, just have a good time. So yeah, a lot of really cool cards coming out. I believe this last day of spoiler season, so make sure you're staying tuned for more exciting quick takes and spoilers coming up. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.